Recorded in their mother's basement, Super Nerdland brings you Graded Point 5, where in a comic book it would be worth less than the polybag it comes in.
Hey everybody, welcome to Graded Point 5. I'm your host Jason. With me tonight are Mike and Jordan. Guys, say hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there.
Before we get into it, huge spoiler alert. We're going to spoil everything. Be aware. You don't like it, you probably shouldn't be listening. But we're going to assume you're still there, so let's get down to it. Back in 2003, we had the War on Terror going on. A U.S.-led coalition invaded Baghdad, and a bombing left a zoo open to escaping animals, and some lions actually escaped into Baghdad itself. This was fictionalized in 2006 by Brian K. Vaughan, who... Jordan. Yeah, why The Last Man, right?
Yeah. So you know it's going to be a very happy story with a great happy ending.
Right. Well,
So
Brian
many
K.
cheaters,
Vaughan...
so many real.
Yeah, and Nico Henrichon decided to fictionalize this whole account, anthropomorphize the lions, give them, the human abilities to talk and such. And that's how we got Pride of Baghdad. Well, as Jordan alluded to, it did not have a happy ending.
Yeah, well, to be fair, though, the real-life version of the story did not have a happy ending either.
Yeah, that's very true.
In the original incident, a zoo was bombed, as Jason said before, and these 4 lions escaped out and basically wandered through Baghdad before being shot by 4 U.S. soldiers, and that actually happens in the book. But this book, essentially, no matter what you want out of it, you will get something out of it. You want adventure? You got that. You'll find some adventure in that. You want a tale of survival? You got that in this book. You want a tale of fucking war? You look at that. You look at this book. You will find a tale of war. What I really liked was that you could that each character, every single character, can represent one of these. One of these viewpoints. So, and from what I understand, the writer actually wanted that to happen.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading about the actual event, and it's actually a bit more gruesome than the comic makes it look.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
In the comic version, it's just they basically shot down by assault rifle fire. In the real thing, I do believe they shot the fuck out of those lions with saws and I think an anti-tank weapon.
Mm.
Go see.
But they were saying most of the animals were in critical condition, dying of thirst, starving.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's rough.
To be fair, though, Baghdad is surrounded by a goddamn desert.
Yeah.
And there's not much of food, water, anywhere outside of basically plumbing or other animals' pets and whatnot. Damn it.
Now, what's really interesting is you get a lot of actual, points of view about the war from the lions and from the other animals they encounter.
Mm-hmm.
It's
that one turtle.
Yeah, that was actually probably one of my favorite portions of the book. Specifically where he's talking about, because the tortoise more or less says that he's been around for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And remembers the previous war that had happened in Baghdad.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure if it was referring to that war either. He could have. He said back when Iraq was still an empire, so that could have been World War One.
Right.
And then they would have still been fighting over oil back then. but still.
Right. Well, I assumed it was the previous Iraq War because it says last time was a dozen or so years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes more sense.
So that would kind of tighten up the timetable. But the panel where you see just turtles basically drowning in sludge.
Yeah, that would be what? Desert Storm?
Yeah. But I think I just love the look. Well, I don't really love it, but it's very powerful to see the look of anguish on the turtle's face as he's remembering basically himself being the sole survivor of just bullshit humans doing bullshit human things and fucking up a ecosystem for an entire species of animal. Just hit me right in the feels when I first was looking at it. I had to sit and stare at it for a good couple of minutes just to kind of soak up everything that was happening in the panel.
Yeah, turns out the artist really does not fuck around. And I actually like that about this. There's a great deal of, I don't know how to say this, but realness to the whole thing. Despite the fact that they're all slightly anthropomorphized lions and other animals that... one thing I actually liked about it was essentially like being the source for like a good deal of memes. Like that one giraffe.
Yeah.
That fucking giraffe that gets blown up out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was...
airstrikes.
It's like, well, fuck that giraffe in particular.
It's not like they needed a giraffe.
Fuck that particular long-necked bitch.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
But yeah, throughout the book you do get the sense that these lions have been in this enclosure for a little too long. They've been... These 4 lions, which is like, what is Zuka Noor? No, that's, I'm mixing up names here.
Zil, Safa, Noor, and Ali.
Yes. You get the sense that they've been here a little too long, because the youngest one, Ali, doesn't know anything that Zil knows. And then you got the tale of Safa, who was in the wild, but basically has one of the most tragic backstories that is mostly implied. But and then you have the cub's mother, Ali's mother, which is Noor?
Yeah.
Yeah, Noor. Ali's mother's Noor, who really wants to escape. And all these lions, they basically bicker all the time. Right until they get freed. And that just continues throughout the book until they slowly start working together again as a pride. Which makes the ending all more tragic.
It's like they finally stop being cunts to each other and start pulling together, and then they get gunned down.
Clearly, this is a story for children.
Yes. Read this one to your 5-year-old tonight. He will thank you.
But, yeah, like the whole book starts out with them bickering in the pen, and Noor of all 4 of these lions trying to negotiate with the antelopes, basically get out of the zoo that they're being kept in. And unbeknownst to them, the war is going on. The Second Iraq War, Operation, or whatever the fuck. You know, Americans have like the most epic names for your fucking quagmires.
I think that was that Operation Iraqi Freedom?
Dude, I don't fucking know.
Or was that Operation W Got a Boner?
That actually sounds more accurate.
Anyway, for Operation W Got a Boner, starts going in force, and they basically the whole zoo gets bombed to shit, and that gives them the chance to basically escape into Baghdad. And where they find out they're pretty well fucked, because there's no water, there's no food, and the only thing you can really eat in that area are either humans or the random horses that appear out of nowhere in the city that apparently came from probably, I would say, Uday Hussein's stock, because it's near his palace. Because those Husseins, they had so many palaces. So many palaces.
Yeah, in fact, one of the lions they've come across is not stated, but it's believed to belong to Uday.
Mm-hmm.
The one that died from starvation.
Which is a damn shame, because if they just kept those fucking animals in 2 separate cages, the lion would probably be fine. But these lions, they progress through the Baghdad, basically find there's no food, but there's plenty of water. And they come up with that old turtle that basically had his whole life fucked over from the previous war, and basically warns them of what's coming. And so Safa and Ali are basically, just chilling out by the water there, and they're attacked by tanks, effectively, as a tank line charge. Safa, not knowing what the fuck these goddamn monstrous entities are, just is stunned by this. I mean, how can you describe a tank to something that is only known, I would say, lions, elephants, zebra, antelope, whatever? It just shocks her to see all these tanks just coming, charging down the line towards the rest of Baghdad. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, after that, they wander into Baghdad and they find some horses. And they try to do the woman hunting thing, because in a pride of lions, the women do the hunting, the men do the fighting. So the lions, Safa and Noor, they go out to the horses, and they chase them to Uday's mansion, which is basically a gigantic fucking palace. That's where they meet Fahir and Rashid, the starved lion, and a big fucking bear. Unfortunately for 2 lionesses, they're not strong enough to fight the bear. And Safa pays for it with her only one eye. Did I mention at this point she only has one eye? She loses that eye with the fight with the bear. So, Zil, hearing them, manages to fight Fahir out into the outside of the palace. And a bunch of horses are being chased to basically trample this bear by Ali. Because these bears have tactical knowledge. It's a gruesome death.
Yeah.
Because it is implied to be drawn out because the lions don't kill the bear after the horses trample him. And then they climb to the top of a pile of rubble, looking up, and then they see something that Zil has been trying to describe since the beginning of the book. The horizon. They've never seen the horizon before, considering they've only seen that pit and the walls of the zoo itself. And at that point, after seeing that little bit of triumph, they're all gunned down.
Yeah. It's all for nothing, they all die anyway. Well, no, there's a scene I fucking love when they first see Baghdad proper.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what to make of it, and they call it a zoo. For, humans, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That just felt so apt to me. I just kind of looked at that and I sat there, I'm like, yeah, it really kind of is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just... Okay, I will admit, one of my first ideas for this episode is through the whole thing, I was going to have the Lion King soundtrack in the background. I mean, I'm glad I didn't, because that might bring a little trouble our way, but this is definitely not, Lion King, Hamlet bullshit.
No, this is some pretty brutal shit. Especially the part where it portrays Sappho being raped by a pride of lions.
Yeah.
4 males in total. I mean, they only take 6 seconds each, but that's still...
Well, it's implied that the first one only takes 6 seconds, but the other 3 deliberately take longer than that to teach her a lesson for defying them in the first place. So yeah, that's always fun.
Well, see, the thing is, he said that he would take her ear, and if she kept fighting, so she fought. Or less, because she's missing one eye and one ear by the time you see her in the modern day.
And it is ridiculous how badly they fuck up that bear.
Mm-hmm.
Zill bites the damn thing's nose off.
Just to spite its face.
And then knocks him out a window. Jesus Christ. And then, has him stampeded by wild horses. And the damn bear is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
That is one strong-ass animal. I mean, it broke the bear's spine.
It turns out being run over by 2-ton beasts is not a good thing for your health. Because remember, the goddamn original Superman got his back broken by falling off a horse.
Yeah.
God damn it, Mike.
They're tall-ass animals. I mean, look at them. You walk over them, they're a goddamn wall of meat.
God damn it, Mike.
I'm trying to tie in shit, okay?
God damn it, Mike. It's not okay.
It is okay.
Too soon.
It happened like 40 years ago!
Too soon, man.
Actually, what time did that happen? Let's see. First
Superman. Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
Off the rails. But then, I mean, it's... Because there's not really a whole lot you can say about this book, because it's very short, and shit goes wrong at almost every turn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just...
To be fair, though, a lot of shit goes wrong in real life, and these lines... We're given a bit better deal of it in the comic book than they were in real life. The poor bastards, but at least you got a sense of adventure out of this whole thing. Or Gale's survival, which is more important considering they don't know what to do anymore. They've basically been tamed to the point where they don't know how to quite hunt properly anymore.
I gotta admit, though, I like the art. While, line work is kind of... It looks sketchy, but it's, a stylistic choice, not a lack of talent.
Mm-hmm.
The animals are very expressive.
Yeah, they definitely are.
I mean, at no point do they just stand there looking like animals.
Mm-hmm.
They always have an expression on their face. And it's weird. It's almost like if Disney had an idea of what they were doing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sally! You are a cat.
You are not
we're talking about lions.
You're not a lion, Sally. Damn, Sally.
But she can pretend.
See, they would have had a happy ending if they stayed in that mansion mansion with the pool in it for a little while longer, but not very much longer, considering the state they ended up being in.
Yeah, I was about to say, there is no real happy ending, only delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
And it's weird, because you look at it and you see all this commentary on the war and, trying to push politics, but it really comes across almost like, how like in the 80s you had movies like Watership Down and Plague Dogs, where there were almost darker takes on, anthropomorphized whatevers. Almost like an adult version of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could see this fitting in really well as actually an animated movie. I don't know who the hell would have the balls to distribute it, but...
Adult Swim. They're about the only people I can think of.
Yeah, but I don't see him getting down for a movie like that.
Yeah, probably not.
As for the human element, it does show the darker sides of humanity. I mean, there's the undercurrents of war, the invasion of Iraq itself, and basically people getting killed left and right, random civilians. But what stuck out to me was the treatment of the pet lion, the Rashid, I think. Rashid?
Rashid.
Yes. When they finally find him, he's basically in a decrepit state. He has no teeth, he has no claws, and flies are basically eating him. Which is somewhat of a foreshadowing from Safa up there when she said that she's trying to describe how the old country was to Ellie, and one of the things she says instead of describing how she was being raped was that there were giant flies that are just fucking everywhere, biting into your skin, and this Rashid is basically in that state where flies are chewing into his skin, and he's just in a decrepit state, this poor animal. And then when you realize that this may have been Uday's mansion, you completely understand how badly he treated everyone and everything. Because this is the type of motherfucker that would basically, went before Iraq was invaded, and Iraqi athletes were performing poorly in the Olympics, he would cane them himself personally. That is, for people who don't understand what caning is, take a real long stiff rod or a wooden cane, have some laid on the ground, and then smack the soles of your feet. There are a shit ton of nerve endings in your feet, despite how pressed they are against the ground, and it fucking hurts. And that's what he did if you lost at the Olympics. Not if you failed him personally, because you'd be tortured for days otherwise. Plus, there's also the other thing about him having, harem lists of beautiful women that he basically raped on the daily. He was not a very good person, is what I'm trying to get across here.
Yeah.
And it comes across, and Rashid helps push this further than anyone would ever think. Because he has no teeth, and he is in the worst state ever. I don't know how the bear got ahead, but, goddamn bears.
Stealing
don't fuck with bears.
Stealing Rashid's food.
You'd think that Uday would take off his talons and stuff, though, too. Considering that's what he did with the lion.
Yeah.
But maybe he was scared of the bear. We don't know.
I mean, I'd simply write it off as convenient for the story.
Because a toothless, talonless bear is not very scary. It's decrepit as fuck. So, that goddamn bear, though, that is a giant-ass bear. I think that... What species do you think the goddamn bear would be? Fucking grizzly, maybe? I know that's not a black bear, because black bears don't get that big.
That's like the kind Zangief trains with. That's how you get muscle power.
Oh, actually, yeah, that would make more sense now that you mention
it. Well, you know, it's actually related to Kuma from Tekken.
God
fucking damn it.
But no, honestly, like, I went into this, I'm not really big on, you know, the whole main characters are animals kind of trope, except for things like We Three is the only one I can really think of that I liked. Like, I hate Lion King, and I hate trying to humanize things that aren't human to begin with. It always comes across kind of heavy-handed to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I went into this going, okay, I thought it was going to be more of a feels trip than it was.
Yeah, John fucking lied to us.
John played this up as we were going to feel something. And I'm just kind of like, eh. I mean, it was decent, but it didn't do all that much for me, you know?
Yeah, it really wasn't until the very end when they get gunned down, and that's more of the gore factor than ma feels. Yeah, it just, I don't know. I mean, I went on a feels trip, but not the kind that I thought I was gonna go on. Like, I thought I was gonna go on one that was gonna leave me fucking like emotionally crushed, like when we read The Crow, or by the time we were done with Why the Last Man. This one's just like, oh, it's just a story about how everything's shitty and horrible. Well,
yeah. And, you know, this thing did win a lot of accolades.
Mm-hmm.
And won IGN's best original graphic novel of 2006. Which, yeah. It was good. It was solid. But it just did not really resonate with me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. And it's one of those things that if you are somewhat unfamiliar with the events surrounding the book, you're because I think that lends itself to a lot of the emotional impact, is understanding the war surrounding what this book is supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
Because without that very important piece, there's almost nothing emotionally to tie you to these characters, aside from the typical story of wanting to be free and that freedom ends up costing you your life. Like, that whole trope. Yeah, it's...
I mean, honestly, it's like, I feel like if you want to read, you know, an anthropomorphic story, go pick up We Three or Mouse. You know? They're just both... Like, Mike, I know you've read both of those as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're stronger stories.
They're also a bit longer, too.
Well, not We Three. We Three is actually shorter.
It just feels longer, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The action is really fast in The Pride of Baghdad. And at least in several of the fights are extremely dynamic. And I like that. What few fights there are. I mean, there's just the one with the bear. And... Actually, now that I mention it, that's the only fight I can think of in that whole book. Was just the fight with the bear. Goddamn bear.
Yeah, because you don't really have too many actual fights.
And the baboons.
The baboons, yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't really much of a fight. That was,
was an ambush.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think we gotta go back to one of my favorite points in this story. It's not very far in. That fucking giraffe.
Yes, praise the old ones for answering our prayer. They've opened this zoo. Fucking blood everywhere. Jesus Christ.
Just a ragged fucking stump at the end of the neck.
And it's smoking.
Yeah. And spurting blood. And the entire carcass is about to fall on on 3 of the lions. But that's what you get when you become a religious fanatic. Your head explodes. It's like scanners up in here.
God damn it. Fucking Christ.
That's just like an amazing shot, though, just to randomly hit a fucking giraffe square in the head.
Yeah, that guy should have gotten a fucking medal.
I'm just trying to figure out what the hell he hit that giraffe with, though.
Maybe he's just dropping a deuce, and the deuce was just that powerful. made a motherfucker's head explode.
I mean, it really doesn't make any sense overall.
It just makes for a good panel, really. It's rule of cool to the nth degree. Like, they were fucking writing this out. You're like, it'd be fucking awesome if a fucking giraffe just head explodes. Why would that make sense? It doesn't make sense, but it wouldn't be fucking awesome. Fair enough. And they fucking drew it out, and it looked great.
And then the monkeys. Goddamn monkeys.
Goddamn fucking monkeys. I think they're... What the hell are they? Light brown fur, white tufts around their face, black skin. They're monkeys anyway. They're assholes.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever say what...
They're gibbons, dude.
Oh, gibbons?
I mean, look at them. Pick up a picture of a gibbon. They look like some fucking form of them. Like, here. Look at that shit. Picture of a gibbon. The coloration's close. I mean, it's just a generic monkey look. I don't think it's...
Yeah, that's a gibbon. Yeah, they're gibbons. Those goddamn gibbons. Fuck the gibbons.
Gibbons are assholes.
All monkeys are assholes.
Well, yeah, because they're very close to being human. And as we all know, all humans are assholes.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they did steal a fucking lion and try to kill it.
What the fuck else are you gonna do with a fucking lion?
Actually, I don't think they were going to kill the lion. They were essentially... Monkeys were going to use the lion as their tank.
Well, no, they held that pointed rock and we're gonna put some color in your coat and shit.
Well, that's what you do when you...
they were gonna carve into his flesh to signify that he belonged to the monkeys.
Yeah.
Give him some gang colors.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I love how the leader fucking goes out like a bitch. He does. He's like, try it, Grandma. Come down here. Me and my friends will gut you like it. And she fucking... He's like, get her off. And then he's fucking dead.
Well, you don't fuck with lions, especially the lionesses, since they're the ones that do all the hunting.
Yeah.
When it comes to a hunting pride, all the female lionesses, they're to gather resources. The males are there to gather the sun and fight off.
Yeah. Fucking antelopes, too. Antelopes were idiots in this.
Yeah, the goddamn antelopes are idiots. They could have got... If everyone cooperated in this book, they probably would have gotten out earlier, but that wouldn't have been too much earlier, considering how they just started bombing everything in this poor zoo. But I do like that Safa kept her... Not Safa, Nor kept her word regarding the antelopes.
Yeah, let them go free.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, literally that's letting food run away. Uh, I've never had antelope. But yeah, I'm looking through the part with the turtle again. He
Yeah, we're
was
looking at.
referencing, I think, Desert Storm, but he said he was born during World War One.
Mm.
Yeah, or at least whenever. Wow, whenever. When was it an empire, Mike?
World War One would have been the last time that that the Ottoman Empire existed.
Well, turtles do live for a fucking long time.
Mm-hmm. The longest lived creatures on the planet. Especially if
Yeah.
you look like, because I'm not sure what type of turtle that's supposed to be, but I know that what's their average life expectancy is over 100 years.
Yeah, the only thing older than turtles are trees.
Yeah.
And some forms of, like, fungus and shit.
Well, yeah, stuff like that. That kind
Or
of.
those creepy ass jellyfish that basically turn themselves into babies to be born again. Ugh, I hate those goddamn jellyfish. I don't know why.
Creepy immortal things.
Like,
It just seems
then
so
go to the
weird to
fucking beach
me.
and just start stabbing jellyfish.
Yeah, it just seems so weird to me. It's something that cannot die. Ugh, it just doesn't feel right.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the weird thing about jellyfish in general. Can you really technically call them alive? They're for the most part they're literally just like water and nerve endings.
Protein.
Yeah, protein.
Water and protein, that's all they are. But that said, there are no more goddamn jellyfish in this book. Important thing is that fucking turtle, man. That turtle is old as fuck, and that poor bastard has been there since World War One, and he lost his entire family because of the first fucking Iraq War. All over oil. Ugh.
And it's like, you're supposed to feel for the animals the whole story and everything. I think the turtle is the only one I actually felt for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that's a failure of the writing or what. Or maybe it's just the fact I knew going in what inevitably was going to happen. That kind of does detract,
Yeah, that definitely could have been.
It's like going in, even if you didn't know the actual events that inspired this, going in it's not going to have a happy ending.
Right. I think part of the thing with the turtle might be because it's more of a somber sort of ending to those animals' lives. It's not them being gunned down. It's, the oil being spilled into, what is a water supply, what these creatures require to survive, and them getting stuck in it. And it's the idea that your mind is able to go to, like, them drowning / suffocating in this black goo. It's a lot more depressing than, oh, they were riddled with gunfire. At least in my opinion, it's a lot more depressing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think honestly, it might be a testament to the artistic talents of I forget his fucking name. Nico.
Nico Henricum?
Yeah, because you can definitely see a lot of, like Jason had mentioned before, a lot of like expression and emotion in the faces of each of the animals in that particular panel.
Mm-hmm. That's the art style, though, I do like, is extremely streamlined. Everything looks like everything it should. Everything is expressive. All the animals are expressive. It's just so emotive. And book isn't really fucking me up enough, I should say. I'm still trying to swallow the whole thing down, and it's just... It's not quite what I was expecting. I was expecting to be hurt a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just the tiniest bit more. And unfortunately, why is the last man here? Let's see. Brian K. Vaughan didn't hit hard enough. And that might just be because of the fact that I've seen 2 Iraq invasions now. And now an Afghanistan or invasion, it just doesn't hit hard enough to me now. Or I don't know how else to put it, unfortunately.
I think, on the same note, I think it would have hit harder if I hadn't seen stuff like Watership Down or the Plague Dogs, or, read stuff like Animal Farm. If I hadn't, or like Mouse, or We Three, if I hadn't already experienced something that's done it more and better, I think this would have hit a lot more of what I was looking for,
Mm-hmm.
But it's outshined by other properties that have done the same ideas and better.
Mm-hmm. It is unfortunate because I enjoyed it, but other work has done better, unfortunately.
And it was really hard to work up, like, any real enthusiasm for this because it was good. It wasn't great. It was good. It was middle of the road,
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it, a solid 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, in that range.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I had my hopes up for it more. As it stands, it's not bad, it's not good. Well, it's not great there either, so, yeah. Now that you mention it, it's a little bit above cut of the middle of the road, but not very far, unfortunately. What do you think, Jordan?
Honestly, I think the only saving grace that this has, in my opinion, is the art. Like, the writing is very middle of the fucking road. And there's a couple of panels that are, it's usually like the full page like splashes that are done really, really well and kind of gripped me. But the rest of it it's like the two of you have said. It's very middle of the road. It's good. It's not great. And I think it's one of these things that I'm glad that I read it, but I don't think I'm ever gonna revisit it to be like, oh, like Why the Last Man? I'm definitely gonna revisit because it was really well. It's a really well told story. This is not a very well told story, which I understand. That's kind of the issue that you have whenever you are basing something off of real life events and you don't want to veer too far away from what actually happened. But it's just meh. That all I got.
Yeah. It's, like I said, it's hard to work up any real enthusiasm. The art's good. That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this feels like I wouldn't want to suggest it to anyone to buy. I mean, if you could, like, check it out at your local library or something, go for it, but I mean,
Yeah, it's not something that needs to belong in anybody's collection, that's for sure.
I mean, it's like if you want to buy a comic about animals and shit, go for We Three or Mouse. If you want, a story about the Middle East, go for Persepolis. Yeah, there's just so much more you could. It doesn't fit anywhere. in something I would suggest, you know?
Mm.
Because it's definitely not a story I'd give to kids, because it gets way too heavy and way too bloody. But it's not, it doesn't raise any real big points for adults. It's like, where does this go? Do I give this like a teenager and just be like, here, have fun being unfulfilled?
It's definitely something for adolescents because it's got the blood and gore, and it's got the very basic storytelling that at first glance is like, oh wow, this is kind of deep and introspective, but as soon as you give it some actual thought, which most teenagers fucking aren't going to do, you find that it's shallow. Yeah, I would say this is a perfect, well, not perfect, but it's a decent comic to have some adolescent who hasn't really read a whole lot of independent stuff, who's maybe only been exposed to mainline DC or Marvel comics, and they want to see something that's a little darker and edgier. But that's about fucking it.
I just want to take some hallucinogens, plug in the Lion King soundtrack, and reread this, see if it gets any better. Or if I just wind up laughing hysterically the whole time.
I'm pretty sure that the latter is going to be the more likely case. So they're going, oh shit, son, that fucking bear got his nose bit off. Oh shit. I don't know if you'll go that high, but get the
whole time just in the back, I just can't wait to be king.
God damn it.
Fucking Elton John while this... Jesus Christ. It's like, I don't remember Simba being this stupid.
But I can't think of anything else to add to this. I mean, it wasn't bad, it wasn't good. For first-time readers, maybe a little bit too deep for them to throw into that bit, but it'd be a good first point for someone who wants to go a little bit deeper.
You know what I would do with this book? I would give it to an animal lover. Find somebody who loves animals, doesn't like to see bad things happen to animals, and be like, "Oh, here's a great story about some lions," and just watch their face as they read
see,
through it.
Even if I wanted to do that, a better option would be Way 3.
God damn it. Okay, fair enough. I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you trying, but it's just like...
Well, I mean, that's kind of the main thing to take away from this, isn't it? That everything that this book tries to do, something else has done better.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably the most disappointing thing about it.
Yeah, I mean...
Which is unfortunate, because it was apparently one of the better books of 2006. Which shouldn't say much about 2006.
I mean, I can't think of anything else that specifically came out in 2006. Hold on a sec. Best comics of 2006, how about it? All-Star Superman?
Oh no.
Yeah, Jesus, it's just... from what I'm seeing, it was not a really particularly strong year. Jesus.
No.
Ugh.
That's basically it.
Yeah, literally, I'm looking through lists of stuff that came out in 2006, and that shit I'm just... Oh wait, Fables. Fables was in its 50s then.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean... Moon Knight, whoop-de-doo. DC was still fucking it up as a company back then. Marvel was just really starting to fuck up, like, badly. It's just,
Yeah, there wasn't a lot in 2006.
Yeah, it was a dark time.
And this was the brightest, darkest point of 2006, unfortunately. Well, I guess it can't be helped. I meant, well, if John were here, he'd probably be able to explain a lot better why he would have thought this would be at least good. Like I said, I had better hopes for this, but as it is, it's unfortunate.
I think it comes down to our final word here. Would you suggest this to anybody?
As a first-timer, maybe. To a first-timer, maybe. Just to show them how dark it can get in the comic industry.
But this isn't even as dark as it can get, though.
No, it's not. It is absolutely not. This is like Babby's first deep end of the pool. This is like you know when you go in the middle of the pool and it's all like I would say about 15, 20 degrees, and all of a sudden it goes down to 45.
Yeah.
And you feel it right in your fucking toes. Mm-hmm. This book is like sticking your foot out and realizing, oh, there's no more pool out here. Oh, well, this is unfortunate. That's basically it.
I gotta agree. So, I guess that's it. I guess this has been another episode of Grade Point 5. Hope you enjoyed it, and honestly, if you really want to, I guess, grab the comic. You know, definitely support your local comic shop if you do, but that might not be such a good idea in this case. Either way, support your local comic shop and support the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. And, yeah. This has been an extremely awkward episode.
My apologies anyway.
Well, right. No, it's not your fault. I think it's more the content.
Yeah, the content's, What's a better way to say shitty?
If I had a half hour, I would be able to tell you.
But yeah, this has been Grade Point 5. We'll see you next week.